anything. So I do need to do a real quick sound check, and then we're going to dive in. So it's 12:29. We're going to start about 12:31 with the content. But if I could get a thumbs up from someone, or a yes, we can hear you and all is well, that would be fantastic. Thank you, Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. Hey, Laura. All right. Hey, Anita. All right, you guys. I love it. I love seeing students and members in the mastery group on here. Awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. So I have one ask of you guys during this training is that in the chat, if you will just talk a little bit about whether or not you've considered working with a practitioner. If it's something that you're interested in doing, are you attending this because you're definitely wanting to? Talk amongst yourselves a little bit in the chat. I mean, I want you to pay attention, of course, but I go back and I look at the chats, and I like to see what you guys are doing, what you're talking about, and I do pick up a lot of things that I see that coaches need during the chats. I know that's crazy, but I do go back and read them all because it's very helpful to me to be able to continue to bring you what you need as health coaches, to have you talking and seeing what you're interested in. So I'm going to get started in just a second. All is well here. I'm going to close the chat window. Just as a reminder, put your questions in the Q&A box or save them until the end. It's up to you, however you want to do that. But I am going to present, and then I'm going to go back to the Q&A. I don't like to stop in the middle of training to check questions because I get people who know me really well know that I can be a little bit distracted because I love to share information. So if I get off on a tangent somewhere, I don't want to miss the opportunity to stay on track. So 12:31. Rebecca, since you are my first person that chimed in, once I get my screen share going, I'm going to check in with you, make sure you can see it, and then we're going to roll, okay? So give me just a minute, you guys. We are recording. And let me know if you can see everything okay. Rebecca, give me a heads up. Yes. So you can see my screen. Awesome. Thank you. And here we go. Okay. So welcome to Collaborating with Practitioners and Wellness Leaders in A to Z Training for Health Coaches. Now, if you are a mentorship member of the Health Coach Mentorship and Mastery Group or a student of the Institute, you already know me very well. My name is Carmen Hunter. I'm the founder of the Institute for Functional Health Coaching and the Mentorship and Mastery Group. I have been a health coach now for over 8 years, which every year that passes, I think about where I was when I started health coaching and where I am today and where I see the industry going. And it's just night and day. It's completely changed. It's shifting all the time. It's very exciting for me to watch things change, but it also makes me want to even be more of an educator for health coaches and more of a mentor for you, which I've been doing for over 5 years now, because I am seeing health coaches coming in and they're floundering and they're nervous and they don't know quite what direction to go. And I've been in all directions and I have a lot of knowledge and I love to share. So we're going to get started with the disclaimer, of course, and as I like to educate as we go. I encourage you, if you are doing webinars and trainings like I'm doing right now, always announce at the very beginning of your training what people should expect and just kind of give your disclaimer. So everything you learn here is purely educational and based on my personal experience over the last 8+ years of health coaching. Nothing I share with you is to be taken as prescriptive for your business, your clients, or yourselves. Please refer to my terms and conditions for further explanation at carmenhunterhealth.com. If you don't have terms and conditions and you're doing these kinds of classes, you guys go look into it. You need to have them. All right, so not necessarily in this order, because as I was putting this training together, for those of you who know that I rescheduled it because when I was at Mindshare, which I'm going to share with you at the end of this event, I learned a lot more. And so I've moved some things around. It's not going to necessarily be exactly this order, but we are going to talk about all of these topics. We're going to talk about where to look to seek out collaboration. Notice the word collaboration is not the word partnership. How to effectively approach local wellness leaders, how to price and present your services in a way that's attractive, contracted worker or employee status, why confidence is so important when it comes to approaching the experts that you want to collaborate with, why most practitioners probably don't even realize they need you and how to use this to your advantage, and how to stay within your scope when working with your clients. Plus, I'm going to give you a behind-the-scenes look at not everything I learned at Mindshare. I was there for 5 days. It's impossible to even be able to do a recap in even an hour and a half on just the event, but I am going to share some information with you. And it is the Leading Summit for Wellness Practitioners, and I was there, I believe I left August the 9th, and I got home 5 days later. The whole week was a blur after that, as most of you know who have been following me through that event. It is a wide open party, and I'll share that with you at the end. So let me go ahead and turn my video off, because if I see myself, I get distracted. So here we go. We're going to roll right into how to find practitioners and where to look. So We're going to cover some of the obvious and not so obvious places that you can look for collaboration. But I want to just kind of also make this statement one more time, that we are using the word collaboration, we're not using the word partnership. And I'll explain that as we go along. But practitioners can be anything from doctors to massage therapists to naturopaths to somebody that is doing Reiki. I mean, it doesn't matter. The word practitioner is a word that can cover so many different scopes of practice when it comes to wellness and health. So keep your mind open when we're talking about this, that the word practitioner can mean a lot of different things. So the usual places, obviously, chiropractors' offices, massage therapists' offices, functional medical doctors' offices, sometimes conventional offices that are leaning towards a functional model, wellness centers, and health food stores. And of course, there's a lot more, but I want to stay on this page for just a moment. And just a heads up, yes, I always talk this fast. If you're new to me, you will get a replay of this. You will get the slides. But in the interest of me making sure that I can cover everything I wanted to cover and staying authentically true to who I am, this is the speed at which I teach. So if it's too fast for you, I apologize, but I've tried to dial it back and it's just not going to happen. Too much to talk about. So chiropractors' offices. So I've been seeing a trend over the last probably, I want to say 5 to 6 years, where I've been to a couple different chiropractors and I'll walk in and see where they have a shelf of, say, supplements, and they'll have, I've even had 2 of the 3 offices that I visited in the last couple of years have a health coaching service as something that they offer. And when I've inquired, like, what do you guys do? What do you offer? They're like, oh, well, we have these supplements here. Okay. So the health coaching part of that for these chiropractor offices, to them, is maybe coaching someone through how to use supplements. The term health coach is different wherever you go, because we are not regulated, because there is not one standard definition. You need to be really clear in your mind about what you're going to say to people when you do go into these offices and you do present yourself, whether it's online, and we're going to talk about both, or if it's local. Because when we use the word health coach, someone might automatically think, the GNC store, the person who works at Whole Foods in the supplement section, someone who literally just works at, like, say, the vitamin shop or something like that. They can call themselves health coaches too, you guys. So saying that they offer health coaching services doesn't necessarily mean that there's already a health coach in the facility, in the organization, in the office that you're approaching. So if you walk in somewhere and you see that, don't get stuck on the idea that they already have somebody that is filling that space, because 99% of the time it's not true. And without going into too much detail about a place that I have gone to for my own medical care, they say the same thing, that they offer health coaching services. And I'm like, I have been trying to get in here and actually help, to be this person in your office for almost 8 years, right when I first became a health coach. And they're like, oh, that's not what we don't really have someone do what you do. We just have someone kind of look over some of the things that we're suggesting. So even were honest in saying, we don't really have a health coach, but they offer health coaching services. Okay. All right. So when it comes to moving into the functional medical doctor's offices, this is going to be the place where they're going to have a little bit better idea about what a health coach is, okay? Not necessarily what you offer as in your business or what you want to provide, but what a health coach actually might be able to offer to them. Conventional offices that lean towards a functional model might be a really good place to think. Now, let me back up for a second. A lot of people shy away from conventional offices. But I'm the person that goes in and says, how can I disrupt this whole thing that's going on in our world today, where people think that conventional care is all about prescriptions and medications in 15-minute doctor's offices. If I were going out into the world today to present myself as a health coach, I would first go to conventional offices and try to help them understand how much better, they could be serving their people and their patients. Now, here's another reason why I'm saying this. Because a lot of conventional offices are now moving into a membership practice. So they're dropping the insurance, because insurance isn't beneficial for them many times now. And they're starting a membership model, which means, they're taking on less people, but they have more time for people. So what a health coach could do in a conventional office that's moving into a membership model, or even has an idea of a functional model, is they could think, wow, I could see, almost twice the amount of people that I'm seeing if a health coach came in and actually took over the first 15 to 30 minutes of what I'm doing with my patients. So don't shy away from conventional care, you guys. If we're going to make a really big difference and we're going to disrupt this industry the way that I truly believe that we should and can, then we need to get outside the box of believing that we only need to be in functional medical doctors' offices and only reaching out to naturopaths and only need to be in health food stores. Now, these are suggestions, yes, but step outside the box when you're thinking about where you want to go, okay? It could be that one doctor's office that's like, you know, I heard about a health coach and I thought it might be a good addition to my business, but, you know, we've been doing conventional care so long, I'm a little nervous about it. You could be that person that changes their mind, that changes the way that they do their business, all right? So I have super huge confidence in all health coaches. I believe that if I can help coaches get like really over their lack of confidence or over their fears, that I could put a health coach in any conventional place with some training and mentoring and help them to be successful in making that, you know, closing that deal. So places you may not have thought of, regular grocery stores. Natural stores may be more receptive, but grocery stores might be open to the idea of having someone in there that does a meet and greet. Literally, now, how many of you have been to like Publix or Kroger or Aldi's or whatever your grocery store is, where they're handing out those little samples, and you know, you've all seen them, the overweight family that's standing there making a meal out of those little samples that they're frying up in a pan, right? Well, we are now seeing a trend towards healthier thinking. We are now seeing a trend towards organics and natural foods taking over more of our shelves. Wouldn't it be a really interesting idea if you could find a manager, and my local manager here always finds me. He's always like, hey, Carmen, I need to talk to you about my cholesterol. I need to talk to you about this statin they want to put me on. Can I talk to you about this or that? He would be a person that I would say, hey, I'd like to set up a table over in the, in the corner out of the way of the organic section and just do a meet and greet and talk to people about what health coaching really is about and answer any question. Leave the table wide open. Put something up on the table in a frame that says, have a question about food, want to know more about organics? Ask me, I'm a health coach. You know, so a grocery store, a natural grocery store, yes, maybe more receptive, but a regular grocery store that has a nice organic section or is leaning into a better way of serving their people would love to have this added value. If you can find the right manager and you can sit down and make that contact, which I'm going to talk to you about here in a minute, I really would think that that might be a place that you guys can start looking. Supplement stores, big and small. Yes, the mom and pop store that, you know, that maybe the lady who used to be a massage therapist opened up a supplement store and she'd like to add value to her little mom and pop store. The vitamin shop, GNC, those types of places. And I'm thinking about having literally a table set up, a meet and greet to explain what a health coach is, answer questions. And this is all about exposure, you guys. This isn't about necessarily getting in there and making money off of these people. It's about getting exposure. And then perhaps even talking further about doing group classes or adding that value in there where you are a regular part of these businesses. All right, online practices, people moving from brick and mortar into the online world. And again, I'm going to talk about Mindshare here and there because, and you'll see why at the end, why it's such a big deal. I am watching physicians, naturopaths, doctors, functional medical MDs moving into telemedicine. They are moving from brick and mortar into online practices, and they need help and they need support. And they need health coaches that know how to stay in their lane. They know what their specialty is, and they allow that particular doctor to do what they do best, and that's to be a doctor that digs down and gets into the root of the cause of the problem. Local CrossFit gyms is where I started years ago. I wasn't even doing CrossFit at the time, and they were like, hey, can you come and talk to our people? Did some really successful group classes that expanded over an entire month, made some pretty good money doing those classes with literally only 15 to 20 people per class. CrossFit gyms are, you know, there's a lot of people that talk about macros and micros in CrossFit gyms, but they're also just whole food based, primal paleo, you know, some are vegan based, but they love to talk about food and health. So that's a really great place to get your foot in the door. Fitness centers that want to do more than body fat testing and water aerobics. Now we all have our local Y, I'm sure, YMCA. You know, they have their nutritionist or their dietitian come in and they talk about food and they talk about low fat and all of those things. When you present yourself to fitness centers, be so much more than that. Be so much more. Walk in and say, listen, I can talk about food all day. You guys have the movement thing down. You've got trainers. You've got people doing classes. But did you know that there are 5 other things that are so important to people getting healthy? And I believe in 7 essentials. I teach 7 essentials that everyone with a heartbeat needs to get healthy. So if you present more than just movement and food to a fitness center, you're going to see a light bulb go off in their head that maybe they might have something in you. There might be something in you that's missing from what they want to offer. So partnering with a personal trainer who owns their own business. This is a fabulous idea. When I was personal training, I actually was so overwhelmed with the amount of clients that I had and trying to do the health coaching. I literally was talking to someone and trying to get her to consider like helping me with the health coaching part. It never really worked out. I ended up just, stopping the personal training, moving full-time into health coaching because I was so busy with the health coaching part, and the personal training part was burning me out. So it was a natural progression. But personal trainers want to personal train, but they understand the value of all of the other things that go along with getting a body that is optimally healthy. So keeping in mind, if there's someone out there, maybe a traveling personal trainer or a personal trainer who rents a room at the country club, or someone who goes to and rents just space in a warehouse or something, you can look these people up. It's very simple to look in your own community and find out if there is a personal trainer that would like to add value to their business by having a health coach come in and take that piece for them. All right, event coordinators. Now, this is one that just kind of came to me over the last couple of weeks. These are people who plan events that may want to promote you to participants. And I'm talking about marathons, half marathons, 5Ks, color runs, Spartan races, Ironmans. These are coordinated by event planners. Getting sponsored by them or being at those events by offering a program for their participants and getting exposure that way would be a huge exposure for you guys, because there's thousands of people going through these events. All right, so let's move into, and again, put your questions in the Q&A if you have any. If you have something that you personally want me to address that you are in the middle of trying to figure out on your own, I will do it. So put it in the Q&A. This is not just about everyone's learning. It's about what your individual needs are as well. And I'm going to answer those at the end, okay? All right, so why don't practitioners know about health coaches and why they should? Not all practitioners are oblivious to us, you guys, but most of them are. Because again, we're not regulated. And again, many people don't understand the definition of what a health coach is, or maybe they're nervous about what a health coach would do in their business. But have faith, because we are making our way into the mainstream, as you guys know. Unaware does not mean not interested or disinterested. Once again, not a regulated profession, so not a lot of attention on us. We're just recently moving into mainstream. They are waiting for you to walk into and introduce yourselves, whether they know it or not. And we're going to get into all of that in a moment. But, they may just think, like I talked about earlier, that the term health coach means that you work at the GNC or a vitamin shop. Nothing wrong with working in those places, of course, but they call themselves health coaches, which to us is one of those things where we're like, that's not a health coach. That's a person that's giving someone berberine for blood sugar. Or that's a person who's promoting the most recent protein powder made of egg whites or something like that. That's not a health coach, and we know that. But these people don't know that until we walk in the door and we tell them who we are. So I've done this. I've been at a local vitamin shop. I've gone in and I've said, I'm a health coach. I'm a local health coach. You guys are brand new in town. I'd love to take some pictures and do some promoting of you. And they're like, what do you mean you're a health coach? So you work at another supplement store? I'm like, no, this is what I do. So they were very interested and excited about what I did. They called their corporate office. The corporate office would not let me take pictures and would not let me post on social media, which in my opinion is just plain old stupid because it was exposure for them. But the lady told me, she said, you come in here quite a bit. I would love to keep your card in hand. If there's anyone that needs you, I'd like to refer out to you. And I've had some interest, but I've got a waiting list for my practice now because I focus mainly on helping health coaches. But it's a resource for me. So even just being able to give your business card or your flyer, your brochure to someone where they can get the word out about you, that's exposure. So even if they don't want to work with you or have you in there as a regular employee or a contracted person, get the exposure by introducing yourself. All right, so we have to talk about the difference between a contracted person or an employee, the pros and cons of both positions. This is absolutely something that has to be thought of before you even think about the idea of approaching people for collaboration. Because if you walk into a business and you say, hi, I'm a health coach. I'd like to talk to your main decision maker about bringing some value to your business. They're going to say, okay, well, what are you offering? Well, I could be an employee or I could be a contracted person. That looks like you don't know what you're talking about. You're presenting yourself in an uncertain way. Know what you want to do before you walk in the door. All right, so that's going to depend on this as well, you guys. Services that you offer are going to depend on what the practitioner needs, and we're going to go through the contractor and employee part in just a second here. But the services are going to depend on what does the practitioner need? What is your area of expertise or focus? What is your passion? We're going to go back to the passion one in a moment. What are you most comfortable contributing? What's the venue, the office? Is it online? Is it local? Is it a partnership with multiple doctors? I want you to think long and hard about what you want to offer. Because here's the thing. If you walk into someone and they show interest in you, you walk into a business or you hear back from somebody, you might just, and I've seen this happen where the health coach gets so excited about the idea that someone is interested in them, they take their passion and what their focus is and what they know the most about and what they're most comfortable with, and they throw it out the window. They try to become a chameleon and mold to what that practitioner needs. Now, yes, it's important to know what they need. It's important because what you're doing needs to complement what they need, or it needs to be able to mold into each other or fit together somehow. So if you don't know what your area of expertise or focus is and you don't feel passionate about what you're bringing to somebody, they're going to know it and it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. So think really hard and long about what your passion is, what's your focus, what are you most comfortable contributing. So the comfortable contributing part is important as well, you guys. You never get up in front of a group of people and talk about something that you're not comfortable talking about. It's the same thing when moving into someone's office. Now, you go in and maybe you say, I'm really focused on digestion. I'd really like to work with mainly the people who are struggling with digestive issues. And what if the practitioner says to you, no, we have someone that does that. I really need you to focus on autoimmunity. You will automatically, if you don't know much about autoimmunity, your body might automatically give you the sign that that is not something you're comfortable with. And that's a nervous feeling, a flutter, oh gosh, no. And if you say, oh yeah, I can do that, but you know it's not in you to do that, that's not a good thing. You don't want to automatically move into that practitioner's office and go, okay, I'm taking on autoimmunity. I'm not comfortable with it. I'm not passionate about it. It's not my area, but I can talk about it. So think hard about it, you guys. Really be comfortable with what you want to offer. So as a contractor, now when I say a contractor, this is a person who absolutely has their own business and presents themselves to a practitioner or an office as an independent contractor. So a contractor, when you walk in the door and let's say you're going to tell them I'm a contracted health coach. I work with people around the community, or I work with people online by providing services, blah, 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 blah. They will say to you, well, we have a system and you might fit in over here. Or you know what, we don't have anything in place, but this might be a good area for you, right? They need to welcome new ideas with a contractor coming in. They need to be able to welcome new ideas and not be stuck on the things that they're doing as they are. Because as a contractor, you're going to be bringing in value. You're going to be bringing in your passion and your ideas and your focus, and it will add value to what they have if it fits in, if it's a good fit. Now, you're going to determine your offering and you're going to agree where you can add value. So this is the freedom part of being a contractor and not an employee. You've got this freedom. You get to determine your offer. You get to determine, negotiate your fees. Do you want to do a percentage? Do you want to set rate for service? You get to set the days that you're available to work. And you can work with others, right? So you can work into so for example, you walk into a functional medical doctor's office, you let them know you're an independent contractor. That's automatically letting them know that you are out spreading value in other places and working with other people. Maybe you're doing some pro bono work, but that way they don't automatically try to come up with a competition, like a no compete contract with you. If you're comfortable with that and someone offers that to you and it's the deal of the century, absolutely, of course, if that's what you're comfortable with, do it. But otherwise, you want to be free to have your business that you're already doing and be able to add value to what they do. So here's the thing to be really cautious about when you're an independent contractor. If you go into a practitioner's office and you get the first meeting and you sit down with them and it's all going really well, and then they say to you, but we don't want you doing anything outside of our office because that negates the value that you're bringing to us. You need to be ready to abandon the business that you're doing at home, which means, and I'm saying if you sign up with them, I'm not saying, automatically sign up. I'm saying if you choose to go with them and they're asking you not to work with others, that means that you would not be taking other clients in and working one-on-one or doing groups outside of the office. Keep that in mind. It's not something I would ever recommend or do, because you got into this business to be independent, to set your schedule, to have the freedom, to do all of the things that you love to do. So if someone's putting parameters on you and putting boundaries on you and they're not comfortable ones, then that's not a good fit for you either, okay? All right, so what to expect financially as a contractor? Well, you can make a proposal and you can negotiate. You can discuss percentage per project or hourly rate. And this should be based on your offering, value, the value you bring, the time you're spending, how much experience you have. And this rate will vary online or locally as well. So, I used to say that typically you want to have a higher price when you're working in the community because you're actually, from the minute you start doing your hair to get ready to go to work in another office, that's your time. Anything that you're doing to get prepared to move into a practitioner's office that you normally wouldn't do is your time, and it counts as time. So getting ready, getting your stuff ready, getting your computer ready, getting your stuff printed out, getting your kids to daycare if you wouldn't take them there if you weren't going. All of that is time and needs to be considered when you're setting your prices and you're negotiating. It doesn't just start when you walk in the door. This is a myth. I've seen coaches say, well, I get there at 11 o'clock in the morning and I leave at 5 and I make this amount from 11 to 5. What about the time that you're taking to get ready prior to going to that office? What about the fact that you're putting your kids in daycare and you need to pay for that? What about the sitter that picks your son up from school? What about when you leave the office if they've had to wait extra time for you to come and get your kids? What about the drive that you're taking or you're making to get to that place? That is time. Time is money, and your time is worth it. Always negotiate that stuff in there, okay? Always. All right, so let's pretend you're an employee. As an employee, you'll follow their system. You don't have much to say about services or fees. You probably won't have as much freedom or make as much money. You will be, air quote here, an employee. You will potentially have a boss besides the practitioner that you're trying to work with. And you might get some benefits. They may apply. So let's back up for just a minute here. As an employee, when we get hired in, think about this outside of the health world. Pretend you're going to work as a retail person at, I don't know, Victoria's Secret or a retail store somewhere. You're not going to be able to go in there and say, you know what? I think I'm going to wear this today instead of what you guys are all wearing, all those black outfits with your aprons. I'm going to wear red and I'm going to wear a hat and I'm going to carry a little whatever. You don't get to do that, right? You don't get to walk into a business and decide what you're going to do. So when you walk into a practitioner's office, they're going to tell you what they expect of you. So if you're a person that wants a lot of creative freedom, or you have these great grand ideas and these things that you really want to do to make a big difference in the world, in the health system, and the health coaching, in the wellness profession, you're not going to get to do that as an employee for the most part, okay? You might have a little wiggle room here, but your freedom is going away. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Some people are much more comfortable being an employee than they are having their own business and being an entrepreneur. I'm not that person, and we're going to talk about that at the very end, about the difference between the two. But keep all of these things in mind before you walk in and become an employee at someone's business. Let me touch on the potentially have a boss besides the practitioner part. Okay, so let's say you go into a practice. I'm going to use one as an example that I walked into and was about to get into, and thank God I didn't. They had 2 doctors that were partners, and they had a nurse practitioner. And they had people that were, phlebotomists, and they had people working at the front desk, of course, they had staff. But the guy the nurse practitioner was all about everything I was doing. He was like, oh my God, I need to introduce you to the doctors. Oh my gosh, you needed this. No, and they're going to love you. I'm so excited about bringing you in. It was almost a deal until I met the doctors. And then they were like, all right, so this is where you would fit in, and this is what we would have you doing, but you would be answering to this woman over here. I'm like, yeah, nope, that's not going to work for me. So I learned a very valuable lesson that day. I wasn't going to be working hand in hand with these doctors, these practitioners. I wasn't going to be able to tell the nurse practitioner about using HCl for low stomach acid for the person with GERD instead of throwing the purple pill at them. I was going to be answering to the, again, I'm air quoting here, office manager, which would then report to the practitioner or the doctor. Not a good fit for me, not going to happen. I'm too much of a leader, I'm too independent, so I did not go any further with that. And not long after that, they actually kind of fell apart. So I'm glad I didn't get involved in that. They said they were a functional practice. No, they were not. So keeping that in mind, you guys, you will not be directly impressing a practitioner. More than likely, you are going to have an administrator, a manager, a staff, as someone that you're going to be answering to. Okay, so what would you expect as an employee? An hourly rate. Not appealing, in my opinion. You would start at an average wage because they probably have no clue what to pay a health coach. And your monthly performance, I don't even know what, I got a typo there. Monthly performance and increases accordingly, which I guess what I'm trying to say here is they would be evaluating you. You're probably going to have an employee evaluation every few months, and they'll give you an increase according to your performance. I used to manage a staff of 60 people. I hated doing those evaluations, and those increases were pathetic. Okay. Yeah, it was a totally different business, but I can promise you that, the work that you probably have inside of you and you want to get out to the world is going to be worth a lot more than an hourly rate with a little bit of an increase here and there. Okay. Most of the health coaches I know, especially my students and my members of my mastery group, they excel and exceed any hourly rate when it comes to performance and providing value. So I'm sure that you guys are probably going to be the same way. All right. So how do you make a good impression? You got to meet the gatekeeper. You know what the gatekeeper is. This is an old term. This is the receptionist, the secretary, the nurse. This is the person that you have to get past, and you have to impress them first before you're going to get your hands even close to having a meeting with a practitioner. So you're going to, here's what I recommend if you want to get past the gatekeeper or impress the gatekeeper keeper so you can get further. You're going to ask for tips on the best time to check back. Ask what the decision maker's name or names are. Doctors and partnerships, again, will have more than one. You want to get both of those names. And ask her or him if they have any tips on how to make a good connection or a good impression. Don't be shy about this, you guys. This is a person that is, you know, they're running the front desk. They're usually super cheerful, super cute, like this girl on our screen here. Don't be intimidated by a front desk person. Really put yourself out there and say, hey, I want to be memorable. In your mind, I want to be memorable to this person. How can I do that? And we're going to talk about confidence in just a minute. But I want to run through what not to do first, okay? So what don't you do locally? Don't leave a business card only, you guys. Leave a postcard, leave a brochure, leave something that is impressive, something that shows that you've spent some time and some money putting into it to get their attention. You can leave a business card with something, it's fine, but don't just leave a business card. I can tell you where it's going to end up. It's going to end up in the trash, or it's going to get stuck to a billboard somewhere. Do not depend on the front desk person to deliver your message. Another typo. As you guys can see, I'm not a perfectionist here when it comes to this stuff. I just want to give you guys some good value, but I'll try to fix it before I send out the replay. So don't depend on the front desk person to deliver your message. Even if you impress them, they might be that kind of person that's like, well, you know, I've got all these other things going on. I'll tell the doctor about her later, okay? So just don't depend on that. I'm going to tell you what to do in a minute. Don't call, okay? Don't expect the contact to call you. The phone is not going to do it. You are not going to make a good connection with somebody by the phone. You're not going to be memorable. You're not going to get to the person that you want to get to by using the phone. Don't give up. Don't be too needy. Don't be too persistent. Yes, they contradict each other, but there is a fine line to walk here when it comes to making connections and making impressions. Don't give up means like, don't walk away just because the front desk person wasn't super excited about you. But don't be too needy. And like, don't be like calling every day and, hey, it's me again, and I was just wondering. None of that. That's persistent and that's needy. But giving up means like setting your time and making sure that you have a set follow-up time that has been given them enough time to provide the information to the main contact and so on. So let's talk about what to do locally. Again, go to the location, you guys. Don't make a phone call. If you want to work in your community, be seen by your community. Ask if you can make an appointment with the decision maker. So when you walk in the door, you know, as you're saying, you know, here, this is who I am, to the gatekeeper, so on and so forth, say, I'd really like to make an appointment. If you could set me up, that would be fantastic. So ask for what you want. You want an appointment. You want to meet with the practitioner. Ask for that. Don't beat around the bush. Ask for an appointment. Tell them you want to add value to their business in a tangible way. Again, bring a flyer, a postcard, anything besides just a business card. Be memorable. Being memorable can be anything from your smile, the way you've got your hair done, the way that you present yourself, the way you walk, what you're wearing. And that leads right into walking in with confidence, which we're going to talk about some confidence in just a few minutes because a lot of people are lacking in that area, which blows me away because I know how smart you guys are. And make sure they know who you are and what you're presenting. So have that little bit of elevator speech type statement ready. Repeat your name and who you are and what you do. So hold on a second. I got to get a drink here, you guys. Okay, so it would look something like this. You walk in, you introduce yourself, you say, you know, my name is Carmen Hunter. I'm a local health coach that provides value to, you know, wellness practitioners and providers in the area by presenting, you know, a different way of looking at health in a functional manner. Is there someone that I can talk to about how I can get to make an appointment with your decision makers? And the person might be the front desk person. Maybe it's the office manager behind the desk. That's the person that you need to speak with. So ask for who to speak to. And then once they make that connection for you, if it's with them or if it's with the person behind behind another desk, the office manager, repeat who you are, have your elevator speech made and ready, and tell them again, say, thank you so much for meeting with me. And again, my name's Carmen. So nice to have a conversation with you. Here's my postcard. Here's my business card. I'll look forward to following up with you and checking in and making sure that we can make this connection. So that is a way of repeating who you are, repeating what you offer, and who you, and what you want to do for them. All right, so let's talk about the online part. So if you're a person that wants to get in with these practitioners, again, remember, moving from brick and mortar into moving from a physical brick and mortar into an online world, it's happening like lightning speed right now, which is, I think, amazing, because how many people want to stay at home and work from home? I do. I love it. And if I were still health coaching, I'd be looking out to practitioners and asking them if I could be a part of their business. So what not to do online? Don't send repeated emails over and over again. Don't just try to work with just anyone, you guys. I'm going to tell you what to do in a minute. Don't stalk their business page or groups and persistently try to get their attention. And this is a big one. I can't even believe I've seen this happen. Don't get in on a live when someone's presenting and start talking about how you want to work with them. And yes, I've seen it happen in the comments. And I've seen that person that's trying to present some really valuable information in their live get flustered and frustrated. And that is not a way to get in the door. Don't go bombing someone else's live on Facebook or YouTube or anything like that, trying to get in with that person. It's a bad approach. What do you do to get in with someone? Find a good fit. Do your research, you guys. Find out what kind of practitioner you want to work with. Try to make a connection directly with an email or a personal message. Try to learn as much as you can about that business and the doctors before you even make that contact. Find the gatekeeper. There's one online too, you guys. This is a VA, a virtual assistant, a main assistant, or a scheduling person. And have a bio ready to send with your introduction. So a headshot and a bio. I always have an up-to-date headshot and bio in a folder for anything I need it for, whether it's someone's like, yeah, so-and-so can talk to you. Chris can talk to you next week. What do you want me to tell them that we're talking about? I will throw them a bio and a headshot, and I'll put a little bit of maybe a sentence or two about what I want to talk to them about on there, so that I know that everything gets delivered together. So once again, when you research looking for who you want to work with, dig into their policies, look at their ideas. What is their philosophy? What is their belief? And, there are some red flags out there, you guys. There are some naturopaths and doctors out there that you think would be an amazing fit for you. But once you start digging in and you find out what they're selling or what they're using for like maybe a storefront, you can find a lot of crap in supplements. You can find a lot of junk in the food that they promote, or they're big into multi-level marketing programs and you're not. Make sure you do your work before you reach out. It's not a good fit every single time. Just because you want to work with a doctor and they need a health coach doesn't mean it is a hand in glove situation. So make sure whoever you seek is aligned with you as well, with the passions, with your focus, with the things you want to bring to them, with the things that you think you can do to add value to them. Okay, so confidence is key. And yes, you need to fake it till you make it. And it goes against me saying, be your authentic self. Absolutely. Of course, I want everyone to be authentic. Being authentic is very difficult in today's world. We all know that, with all of these people presenting themselves as perfect on social media. People are losing confidence with the comparison thing. I mean, it's happening every day. I'm seeing it happen to coaches. I try not to fall victim to it anymore. And especially after seeing Brendon Burchard speak, where he said, do not start your day on social media, because you start comparing yourself to people within the first 30 seconds, literally, that your eyes are open, you are starting to compare yourself, and that is taking away your confidence. So when I say fake it till you make it, what I'm saying is dig deep inside where you know the confidence is inside of you, because we all have it in something, and pull that out and apply it to whatever you're trying to do, whether it's walking in a door of a business, asking for an appointment. Pretend that piece of confidence belongs to you in these situations, because without it, you're going to fumble and you're not going to present yourself well, I promise you. People are going to see that you don't feel confident and they will not take you seriously. Someone else is going to take your place. Someone else is going to fit into that position that you could be in, a dietitian, a nutritionist, another health coach. You will have their attention for a New York minute, and then they're going to zone out and wish you were gone, okay? Confidence is so important. They will not trust you with their clients and their patients if you walk in and don't seem to know what you're doing. With confidence, of course, the person you meet at the front desk or email will be telling the decision maker about you. They're going to tell them, you know what? This really confident woman walked in today. Her name was Carmen. She really seemed to have a passion for health. I think she might be someone you really want to spend some time talking to. Be memorable. With confidence, you're going to be memorable. You will present yourself as knowing your stuff. Even if it's not something you go deep into talking about, with confidence, you can seem like you could talk about it for hours. Confidence will tell them that you can handle anything they need you to handle. And again, fake it till you make it, you guys, because it really truly works. So then the question becomes, how do you do that when having confidence is so hard? How do you pretend? So you notice the cape on the guy there standing in a suit. A couple of ways that you can exude that confidence is dress the part. No, I'm not telling you to wear a suit. I'm saying dress the part. So if you are a person that is most comfortable presenting yourselves as, maybe you're more of a natural person and you want to, you're a health coach that does fermenting and things like that, and you dress in a more hippie style, but you feel good in that outfit, that's going to make a difference. Don't wear, like, let me just say this, you guys, when I was back in promotional advertising and I was working for $1 million company my family owned, this is back in the, I even hate to say it out loud, but the late 90s. And I had to wear like these suits, like these skirt suits, hated every single second of it. Could not present myself with confidence in those kinds of outfits. The minute I put on things that I felt better in, I was able to make some deals. I was able to feel better networking, okay? Look the part, and that means take care of yourself. No, you don't have to be a perfect weight. You don't have to be perfectly healthy. I'm not saying that, but you better be taking care of yourself in some form or fashion where people know that is a focus for you as well. I've seen way too many people say that they're a health coach, but they're not doing anything to take care of themselves, and it shows. It's noticeable. Practice walking in. Practice presenting. Yes, I mean, shut the door at your house, and if walking into the door of a business makes you nervous, practice walking in as if a bedroom is the place you're walking into. I don't care if you take one of your kids' stuffed bears and set it at a desk somewhere and walk in and make eye contact with a stuffed bear. I mean, this sounds silly, but it's a focal point. And it's something that you can make eye contact with that can give you the practice that you need when you walk in and the practice that you need when presenting. And I tell the story about presenting a speech to my dogs all the time, you guys, because I was so nervous. It wasn't for work, but it was for something I felt strongly. And I was trying to make a really big deal about changing the laws for the animals in my community. And it was so important to me. I'm very, very passionate about protecting animals and children and elderly people. And I failed miserably at the first time I did it because I didn't practice. And I didn't practice presenting, and I didn't practice making eye contact. So I lined my dogs up on the couch, and I practiced that speech with a timer. I don't even know how many times I lost track, but I needed to be able to make eye contact with something so that I knew where to look, and I was able to flow with my conversation and able to present that confidence that I wanted to. Sounds crazy and stupid, but it worked. And I got regulations and resolutions passed on my next speech, and I've never been afraid to public speak again since then. Be firm and shake firm. All right, if you're going to walk in the door and you're going to walk up to someone at a desk, being firm means, hi, I'm Carmen Hunter. I'm a health coach. It's so nice to meet you. Stick your hand out there. That is a firm introduction. This is not, hi, yeah, I'm Carmen. And I was just kind of wondering if there was someone I could talk to. No, that is not a firm introduction. That would be a limp handshake and a person with no confidence, okay? Let them know you'll be following up. So once you've gotten past that nervous part where you've met them and they've like, oh, all right, great. So I've got your information. I'll be going ahead and giving this to the practitioner. Say, awesome. Thank you so much for your time today. I know that you're busy. I'm going to go ahead and follow up with you guys in just a couple of days. That exudes the confidence that you expect that they are wanting to have something to do with you, whether it's a meeting, phone call, whatever it may be. When you say to them that you're going to follow up, that means that they know that you're confident that you have something that you're going to offer that they need. Absolutely thank them. I mean, you can never be, like, don't go crazy getting on your knees. Thank you, no. But a couple times, thank you so much once again. I really appreciate you. Your efforts are appreciated, right? And have that introduction nailed, you guys. Have it nailed. The walking in, the presenting, the firm handshake, who you are, what your elevator speech is, what you're trying to do in that meeting. Thank them, follow up, okay? Those are things that can exude confidence that really don't take that much energy, right? So maybe you say, I'm a health coach who helps people optimize their lives through a whole food approach, and I really love to inspire people to become the best that they can be by meeting them where they are and helping them to get where they want to be in a very low stress way. I'm super passionate about that. Now, wouldn't somebody, if I introduced myself that way, and I was introducing myself to you, wouldn't you be like, man, she's excited about what she does. She seems to love what she does. That's the confidence part. So even if I don't feel super, super confident, the way I present myself tells others that I do. All right, so let's talk about the reason why people don't feel confident, because you got to find out and you got to fix it. You're not going to succeed in this business, even as an entrepreneur, an employee, a contractor, whatever it is, if you don't feel that confidence inside of you. So common reasons. You weren't nurtured to feel confident, and that sucks. A lot of us were raised by parents who made us feel that we had to reach some level of perfection, or we had to get it all, we had to have it all together, or we had to present ourselves in a certain way. Maybe we weren't nurtured to be perfect exactly as we are. And you know what? You got to overcome that. We can't do anything about what happened to us prior, but we can move on from where we are today. Maybe you were never told you could do anything you wanted to do. Maybe somebody said, yeah, well, you could do that, but you could do this better. You know, maybe you never were told that you could do something. So what you have to do in this situation is you have to be your own parent. You got to turn around and you have to tell yourself that you can, or find people that that you can lean on, that can tell you that you can. There's never a better time to get more confident than this very moment, or after we're done with this presentation, and start working on changing the script that's in your mind that tells you that you can't do something. So maybe you're living in doubt because this is a brand new career for you. Absolutely, of course, we're going to have low confidence in something we're not 100%, ready to do, or we don't have a system or whatever. That's okay. It's okay as long as you don't stay there. Don't stay living in doubt. Again, the old analogy I always use, you can rent some space there, but don't buy a home in doubt. Maybe you don't have a system in place that works. Well, you need one of those, okay? You need a system, especially if you're walking in as an independent contractor. If you don't know how to present to a group, or you don't have a system like an intake process one-on-one that works, that you can say, I've got a great system on taking in patients and clients, I'd love to show it to you. Here's how it is. If you don't have that, they're going to be like, well, what are you bringing exactly? So if you don't have a system in place that works, you need one. Maybe you don't trust yourself. Maybe the minute that you make a decision for your own self and health, and it doesn't give you the desired effects that you're looking for, you lose trust in yourself. So how could you possibly help someone else? You got to change that. Again, that's a mindset thing. And we're going to talk about mindset in just one second here as we go down the list, but we've got to start shifting the way that we think about ourselves, you guys. We absolutely have to start thinking about ourselves in a successful place, and not in a place of what and where and why and when and how. All right, maybe you're worried about what someone thinks of you. Okay, well, we're grown-ups. So that's just going to have to be something that you're going to have to get over. Try to think about it like this. What anybody else thinks of me is none of my business. And what anybody else thinks of me is their problem, not mine. The minute you start to own what someone thinks of you, you're throwing all your confidence out the window. You don't even bother trying to walk in and be confident. Because if you're more concerned about what someone else thinks of you, that is a problem. That's a really big problem. Be more concerned about how you feel about yourself. And this is all, again, a mindset issue. So maybe you have a mindset issue around your profession, period. Maybe you have a mindset issue around the business that you're in and you don't think it's possible, to make a living doing this. Well, then you need to get it straight. You need to get some help, get some therapy, get some mentoring, join us in the mastery group, and we need to push you off the ledge of that. The mindset really has to change. So overcoming low confidence, again, fake it till you make it. Get help uncovering where the source of your issue is. Ask your closest friends, your closest family, your closest people to make a list describing the strengths that they do see in you. And write a message every day that lifts you up, that you say to you. And that might be writing on your mirror every single morning, you got this. Or you're just as good as everyone else. Or you know what you're doing, or you know your stuff, whatever it is. Get a mentor or a therapist, because this is no way to live. 100% no way to live without confidence, you guys. And you're not gonna be successful without it. So let's talk about the first meeting, the approach. This could make or break your chances. The approach is everything when it comes to letting people know that you're interested in working with them or for them. And this is the first thing you need to remember. This is the thing that could make or break you. This is not about you. And I know that it may seem that way because I'm talking about you this whole time, but working in a practitioner's office is not about you to them. It's about them. So keep that foremost in your mind when you make an approach to someone. And this is what we don't say. This is what not to say. I need your support. I would like to partner with you. I'm looking for someone to help me promote my business. I'm looking for referrals. I think I may want to work in a practitioner's office. So walking into a business with expectations of what they can do for you is a bad idea. And the word partner, as I've said earlier when I was talking about not using that word, can be a bit intimidating and it can send out the wrong message. People think of partnership like you want to get a piece of their business or purchase a piece of their business or own a piece of their business or become a 50-50 in their business. So stick with collaboration so that you don't do anything that turns anyone off. Trust me on that, you guys. All right, so what to say? I am really interested in collaborating with like-minded wellness professionals I admire. What can I do to help your business? Is there anything you need support with that I may be able to provide you with so that you can focus on what you love to do? I'm interested in bringing more business to you through added value. You're becoming a walking billboard, you guys. That's what you become when you walk into someone's business and you provide value. Once you leave that business and you let them know, I'm out in the community or I'm out in the online space, I am promoting you, I'm talking about you, I think you're amazing. I'm going to be that person that brings you what you need as far as business and new clients and new patients is concerned. All right. I got a meeting with the decision maker. Now what? First, don't look like this poor woman, right? Relax. I need you to relax. When you're going in to meet with someone, you've got to tap into the parasympathetic nervous system and take some deep breaths. And remember, they're just people. We're all just people. So many people get so nervous when it comes to presenting to people or being in front of people or even doing webinars like this. You know, I've been through it. You know, when I first started doing webinars, I did a lot of practicing. I got the heart racing. I got the flushing. I got the nervousness. I got all that out of the way. I did the practicing. And, you know, the first time I ever presented, I think something went wrong with technology, or maybe I made a major mistake on turning something on. Maybe I forgot to record something. I don't even remember. It's been a long time. But I don't get nervous anymore because I remember that you guys, all 63 of you that I see on the participant window here, you're people. I'm a person. The person you're going in to meet, they're just people, okay? So don't let people intimidate you. And how do you not do that? Well, you got to be prepared. Obviously, you need to be ready for these meetings or these online meetings. If you're going to do something in Zoom, you know, where you meet someone face-to-face to get together or whatever. Bring your fees and services page based on your business offering. Do not become that chameleon. Don't walk in and go, well, I'm here to do whatever you want me to do, unless you're going to be an employee. But I have a feeling that most people will be more comfortable as independent contractors. Discuss their needs first. Have some examples of ideas to collaborate. Talk to them about the employee contractor idea. Tell them where you feel most comfortable. Have a list of things that you would like to propose to them. Even if it's something like, I don't know, I love to run group talks. I love to educate people about digestion. I love to talk about whole food. Have a list of things, not an overwhelming list, you guys, just an introduction of what you would like to see yourself doing for them. Ask them where they would like to see you fit in. Maybe they're like, you know, every Saturday morning we do this, you know, donuts and coffee thing, but we'd really like to change it from donuts to something healthier. We really need someone to take the lead on that. Is that something you'd be interested in? 100%. I would love to do that. You know, we could actually do a talk around having a gluten-free breakfast and why breakfast should never start with dessert. Because really, what's a donut? It's dessert. That's just an idea and a suggestion, but it's an idea that would work. And you'd be filling in their need into something that you like to do as well. Suggest a business proposal if it looks like things are matching up. So say you're at that first meeting and you guys are having this conversation. Everyone's getting excited. They're getting excited. You're getting excited. You know, it's not going to end there more than likely. You're going to need 2 to 3 meetings to seal a deal or find out if it's a match. So tell them, I'm open to doing a business proposal and let's see where we can meet maybe in the middle or, you know, I'll do the work. Let me do the legwork on this thing and let me bring you something, because more than likely if you're walking into an office of a doctor practitioner, they're not going to have time to put together a business proposal to fit a health coach in. You can help them by taking that part over for them. So questions to ask them. Do you know what a health coach does? Have you ever worked with one before? What are your biggest needs or holes in your practice? Would it be a relief to have someone take on the pieces that you really don't have time for? And what would those look like? What thoughts do you have about working with a contracted coach? Would you be interested in being my first client so you can see how I work? Now that's a big one right there. You got to have a lot of confidence to be a health coach to a doctor, you guys. Do you have interest in me doing a group program to bring awareness to your clinic or your practice? Get familiar with what they know about what a health coach does, where the holes are in their business, what they need filled, what you want to fill. And I know I'd be totally comfortable being a health coach for a doctor. 100% would be like completely comfortable. But remember this, if that's something that someone takes you up on, like say you've got a doctor who's overweight and he's like, man, I work too much. I don't have time to exercise. My biggest stressor is that I've got my own heartburn I can't deal with. And I, you know, really like to feel better. Awesome. I bet you I can help you with that. Let's set up a 4-week, you know, process where I work with you every week. And let's just do a forward speed ahead here. And so I can get in and start working with you as soon as possible. But I understand your hesitancy. I bet I can make a difference in the first week. So keep that in mind. Confidence, present yourself. as someone who knows enough and feels confident enough in what you offer that you would be willing to have that doctor be your client. That may take some time. So if that's a lofty aspiration, just keep it in the back of your head. Things you can say. I'm here to discuss how I can best add value to your practice and see for a good fit. I am passionate, this is important, about staying in my lane as a coach and letting you be brilliant at your job. I want to see your business thrive, and I'm willing to help you achieve that through hard work and commitment. These are confident statements right here. I'm here to discuss how I can best add value to your practice. I am passionate about staying in my lane as a health coach. I want to see your business thrive. So you're talking about yourself, but you're talking about yourself in that aspect that makes them know that you're there for them. How can you benefit their business? You can support their overwhelming efforts at trying to help people get well. These are simple, common sense things, you guys. You can inspire and empower their patients and clients. You can take on the entire intake process for them. And if you're a student of mine or you're a mentorship member, you have the entire intake process already. You know that. Put your logo on it. Tell them you've got a process. Tell them you're willing to work on customizing it for them and take it with you. For those of you who don't have an intake process, yes, I sell those documents. You can go to my website and find them. We'll talk about it later on. But that's a really big piece right there, because sometimes the intake process is the biggest piece for people. They don't have any idea how to even go about doing it. You can field questions about food, sleep, stress, movement, and so much more, the 7 essentials. Run group classes and programs. Start a rinse and repeat education program. This is a big one. Or anything else they ask, right? So a rinse and repeat education program might be the program that, say, on the first Saturday of every month, I'm gonna teach about whole food and sleep. The second Saturday of every month, we're gonna talk about stress and sleep. Stress and fun. On the third Saturday, so you create a program that rinses and repeats itself. It's a template. So once you put that program together, their patients and their clients, new or old, know what to expect every single Saturday or whatever day you choose and agree on. They can choose what they attend. They know that it's going to be reliable information and that you're there to support them. And you don't have to do hardly any work at all besides presentation once you create the program. These have real potential for being super successful in doctors' offices because it requires very little of them, right? All right, so once you start explaining the benefits of having a coach, the wheels are going to start spinning about how much bigger and better things can be in their business. But you're the one that's got to get those wheels spinning as the health coach. All right, so what about the follow-up? The follow-up is up to you. Do not leave the follow-up up to the secretary, the gatekeeper, the office manager, or the doctor. This is up to the health coach. Take the initiative, okay? Make sure that you're following up. This is important. Do not leave any money on the table. Do not drop the ball. What don't you do? What not to do afterwards? Do not be too eager. Do not harass the gatekeeper. Do not bother that decision maker with tons of emails or phone calls. Don't overwhelm them with all your great ideas. And I know this is hard, you guys, because I have a ton of them myself. But keep some of that. Just throw some crumbs out there with your great ideas. But keep the majority of them to yourself. And don't give up. And let me just throw out a word of caution here as well, because this happened to me. And then when I teach and talk and mentor, I teach and talk and mentor based on experience. And so when I say I've made mistakes or crappy things have happened to me, they really, truly have. I went into a chiropractor. She asked me if I would be interested in working with them. I suggested we get together and talk about it. I showed her all of my stuff. Yeah, I know some of you guys are probably like, you are not very bright. What were you thinking? But again, this is years ago. Next thing I know, she doesn't hire me, and she's running programs based on my content at the local. We've got a place over here. It's a warehouse, and she's running programs on that. And I called her on it, and basically she denied it all. And of course, we never worked together again. But yeah, she took my stuff and started teaching programs in the community. So when I say don't give them all your great ideas, I mean it. Don't give them all your great ideas, because you never know if it's going to work out. So what do you do? Before you leave the meeting, set a date to follow up. So before you walk out, say, how many days would you like me to give you guys to have a conversation before I follow up with you? Secretary, office manager person is going to be like, or the practitioner might say, you know what, I need at least a week because I got a lot going on this week. Check in with me next Monday. Perfect. I'm going to write that down, or I'm going to put that in my phone. I will be in touch next Monday. Let them know you'll be in touch, relieving them of having to remember. Say, oh, don't worry about writing that down. I'll get in touch with you. Review your discussion. Do a recap so you both know what you're walking away from. So that might look like something, hopefully you're recapping with your clients every time you have a session, first of all, you guys. But it may look like something you do with your clients. So you might say, This has been an amazing conversation today. I love what you're doing with your clinic. It really seems to align with what I want to bring in here as a health coach. So we talked about whole food. We talked about the stress perception. We talked about how everybody needs to be sleeping so much better. So I am going to follow up on the Monday. You said you needed a week. And I'll go ahead and do that by email. And then I'll also probably just drop by. What's your favorite coffee drink? What's your favorite smoothie or whatever? I might just drop by and check in with you. Would that work? Or would you like me to bring you some lunch? That is reviewing, recapping, following up. Mark your calendar and then do the follow-up, and put the exclamation point on this meeting if it's one you really want. Send a thank you note to the gatekeeper and the practitioner. A real thank you note, like a mailed one that you buy that says thank you on it, not an email or an e-card. And then maybe even send an edible fruit gift or something like that. No, they're not supposed to receive direct gifts. You walking in going, here's a Starbucks card or whatever, but you can mail things, you can send things, and it's up to them whether they want to accept it or not. So before you take the big leap into collaboration, let's just briefly touch on the entrepreneur versus collaboration. I want you to think this through really, really deep and hard. The last thing you want to do is get hooked into a commitment, get really excited about it, put yourself into that, and then change your mind. Because that can cause bad blood, ill will, and a bad name for yourself as a coach. You don't want to do that. So what are the pros to working with and for others? You go to work, you go home. There's usually no after hours work. You go to work, it's just kind of a go in and then you leave. You know you've done a good job. You go home to your family. You make regular pay, so there's no question about how much money you're going to make if you don't have an issue with that. Possible insurance benefits, which is appealing to some. There's camaraderie and team support. You don't have to create that system that's so important. And you usually get some liability coverage by the office, right? Insurance coverage and so on. So think about the cons as the opposite. I'm not going to go through a list of cons because the cons are the opposite of this. You only make a certain amount of money. You have to work with people every day if you're a person that values independence. Maybe you have a different idea about what a system should look like. So the cons are the opposite of your pros. Pros to working for yourself. And I'm a big, big advocate for entrepreneurs, you guys. I think we need more of us out there. Make your own schedule, create services and programs that fit what you love to do. Only work with those who are a good fit for you and are committed to change. That's a big one for me. I stopped working with people that don't fit into my business model anymore, and I've been happier and I make more money ever since. The ability to change things whenever you want. You work from home or local co-working space. There are absolutely no limits to your expressive, authentic, creative self. Now, this list right here looks a lot more appealing to me than working for someone. But since we're talking about how to get in with practitioners, I'm going to say, we got to keep talking about how we raise awareness. If you really want to get out there and tell the world about health coaches and get in the door with people, you got to do your part and spread the word about health coaches. It's up to me. It's up to you. It's up to us to get out there and talk about it. I mean, chiropractors didn't just say, you know what, this is a new profession. I want people to talk about me. They went out and advocated for themselves. They went out and made a name for themselves. And that's what health coaches are doing, or what we should do. So how do you do that? Start talking out in your community. Write for your local paper or magazine. Introduce yourself just by walking in, and don't propose a thing. Ask to do a meet and greet at someone's office. Participate in health fairs. Ask friends and family in the community who know doctors to introduce you. This is simple stuff. Get out from behind your computer, get out from behind your door, get out of your car, walk into the buildings, introduce yourself, get confident, meet people, get out there, you guys, and start talking about what we're doing. It's the only way we're really going to disrupt the health coaching profession. Speaking of that, staying in your scope of profession, even if we're not regulated, you got to stay in your lane no matter what. You have to. So again, my students, my members, they know I am an absolute I'm so stuck on this right here, staying in your lane and staying safe in your scope of profession. It's in everything I do. It's in almost every training I do. Health coaches are not doctors. Okay. No matter how much we know about diseases, conditions, and health, it doesn't matter. If you present yourself as if you are something other than you're not, people are not going to want to work with you. You're going to get a bad name. They're going to stay away from you. They're going to shy away from being a part of your world. Just remember who you are, but be the best health coach, the most authentic and the most knowledgeable and confident one that you can be. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move into the Mindshare discussion real quick, and then I'm going to go to questions. I've got about 30 minutes left. So don't be shy on questions, you guys, but I will be wrapping up to go get my son around 1:55. So keeping that in mind. All right. So this is Mindshare. I'm going to tell you what Mindshare is in just a moment, but I will put my little cursor around me. So I'm circling me up here on a chair. See me over here. in the white shirt. That's me and Trina from Primal Life Organics. I'm going to point out a few people that you guys may or may not know. So we've got JJ Virgin. This was her event. We've got Anna Kabecka, who is coming to you guys. Actually, I'm bringing some training with Anna Kabecka to you guys. We have, hold on a minute, I'm squinting and looking. There's Joe Tata, who I love. He's my favorite pain doctor. Absolutely one of my favorite people in the entire world, and I love his concept and everything about him. Let's see here. And now we're getting smaller. So there's Isabella Wentz and her husband. We all know her as the thyroid pharmacist. Actually was in her movie a couple years, or last year was interviewed for her movie last year. Jolene Bright, Dr. Jolene Bright. I could go on and on, but these people right here, you guys, these are the names in the profession. These are the biggest names in the wellness world. These are the people that you want to talk to. These are the people that want to talk to you. These are the people that want you in their offices. They want to make a difference. And every year I attend Mindshare. It is the #1 conference for health and wellness influencers. This is where you can launch a bestseller. This is where you leverage your media exposure. You double your business. You grow your audience. You leave a legacy. You change more lives. This is the event of the year when it comes to being a part of something huge and a part of something that can elevate your business like nothing I've ever seen. So my first year was 2016. This is 2017. This is me and JJ and my friend Casey, who is a celebrity makeup artist, but also someone who had bigger dreams for herself. So she has created a brand called Go Be You. She is over 60 years old. She's absolutely gorgeous. She's created a skin serum. Being at this event, even though this is a 2017 picture, in 2016, I got there. I had launched Health Coaching with Confidence. I think it was probably my 3rd or 4th launch of the program that is now the Institute for Functional Health Coaching. I had launched that week and lost my voice. So I had laryngitis. I'm walking into this event. There was only probably about, I think there was like close to 200 and something people that year. This year there was over 500. But I went in there with a goal. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to get my name out there. I wanted to meet people and tell them who I was and what I was doing. And I lost my voice. So talk about losing your confidence, you guys. Oh my God. Let me just say this. Thank God that I still was able to fake it till I made it, because I met so many amazing people and they were so gracious with me when it came to like being able to hear me and hear what I was offering. That was the beginning. 2016, I want to say, was the beginning of me bringing experts into my people. And I've now interviewed well over probably 60 experts, not all of them from Mindshare, but it expanded the reach that I have and what I've done with my business tenfold. It's been an amazing adventure. So this is last year. This is Kevin Gianni and Anna Maria Gianni. You guys probably know her for Anna Marie Skincare. This is Pedram Shojai of the Urban Monk. He's been on Good Morning America. We do not dress like this at these events unless it's a costume party. So this is an 80s themed event. Trudy Scott, and I don't even remember who this was. I remember her walking up to me and I was like, oh my God. I mean, just, you guys, we have fun out there, but there's me networking at an event. It's part fun, part networking, but all productive. This is this year, Mindshare 2018. This is Dave Asprey, Bulletproof Me, my dear friend and business coach, Michelle McGlade. This is Trina Felber of Primal Life Organics. We were all discovered on the red carpet that day, and this is fun talk, you guys, so you don't have to hang around for it if you don't want to, but it's just fun talk, that we were all wearing Spanx. So we took a picture. I have some more that are a little bit more risque, but of us all wearing Spanx, and then we tagged the woman who created Spanx. So Dave Asprey in a pink dress wearing Spanx was something, and notice the Vibram shoes. I'm telling you, that night, I think I laughed more that night than I have laughed in a very, very long time. It was the absolute best time. So more pictures. Dr. Alan Christensen, I am bringing him to my people in a couple of weeks. We are going to talk about everything from metabolic problems, insulin resistance, thyroid, you name it. I've got it all laid out. We're going to have a really good, deep conversation with Dr. Alan Christensen. Dr. Rita Marie, as she has a school for nutrition and endocrinology. Then we've got Your Lab Works, Amy Beth over here, Dr. Hopkins' wife. And then my dear friend, Tricia Nelson, she's amazing. She's talks about emotional eating. And of course, me and my friend, Trina. Trina is one of my closest people. All right, so who should attend Mindshare and why should you attend it? Anyone that's ready to elevate their business, coaches who are passionate and are go-getters, anyone that's interested in stepping outside the box when it comes to what you offer, and anyone who wants to get a real experience of being with the world's top professionals in our field. And if you really, really want to get in with practitioners, you can't afford to not come to this event. So let me throw this out there. If you are interested in being put on my waiting list to get my link for Mindshare, because we do get discounts and promotions and things like that, you need to send an email to me at carmenhunterhealth@gmail.com. That is my personal email, and in the subject line, interested in Mindshare 2019. Let me repeat that. If you send me an email about anything else, I'm not going to respond because I just can't. There's too many emails come through. But if you send it to carmenhunterhealth@gmail.com, again, interested in Mindshare 2019, send that to me in the subject line, you guys, waiting list. I will put you on the list. And when that information starts flowing through, I will start getting you ready to start thinking about attending this event. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Practitioners around every corner looking for health coaches at these events. The other way that you can get your word out about, get out there and learn what health coaches are doing is to get involved with New Health. The Evolution of Medicine and the Functional Forum are presenting the New Vision Tour. So there's the link for it. You can screenshot that or it'll come out in the replay. This is James Maskell's baby right here. It's a 22-city grassroots effort dedicated to massively raising national awareness about functional medicine as the solution to our nation's health crisis. The tour, they say, will be part rock concert, part community rally, part integrative health symposium, featuring top doctors, experts, and activists on stage, covering a variety of exciting health creation topics. So screenshot it, go there, learn about it. I know there's going to be one in Nashville, and if I'm in town, I'm going to be attending that. This is something that you can learn more about, how they're going to be integrating health coaches into these practices and into functional medicine doctors' offices. Woo! Okay, so that was a good hour and 10 minutes. Once again, if you don't know about the Institute for Functional Health Coaching, you guys, you need to know what we're doing because I am disrupting this health coaching profession with my team. We are changing things out here, you guys. We are making things so much easier for health coaches to shine in what they're doing. I love what I do. I love to teach. I love to educate, but I want health coaches building a business that they love, that they can stay safe in, that is not going to have to change and adapt as time goes on. All right. So I am going to go ahead and stop the share and go back to my screen. Hold on a moment and turn on my video and answer questions so you can see I'm still a real person. Hi. All right, you guys. So questions. Let's see here. Rebecca, my holistic practitioner recently expressed interest in my health coaching as well as my services as a medical assistant, which I have a degree in. What's the best way to prepare for this in case she reaches out to me? She hasn't as of yet, but I want to be ready whether it's her or anyone else. So the first thing I want to say is this. Why are you waiting for them to reach out to you? If it's something you're interested in, you need to reach out to them. That's you know me and my tough love, Rebecca, you know how I do. But here's the thing. You're going to have to wear two different hats, not only to protect yourself, and I know that we've talked about this in our student calls, but you're not going to go in as a health coach and a medical assistant unless they have a way to cover you insurance-wise, or they've got a way to ensure your safety as a health coach or whatever. You would probably have to be an employee, would be probably my best guess. But I would probably not want to, now if you need the money and you want to be a medical assistant, fine. But I would probably want to stick with the health coaching part. I would probably want to present myself as that. But I would let them know I would prefer one or the other. Or maybe they can fit you in a way that is, or you can present it as maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm a health coach, and on Tuesday and Thursday, I can fit in as a medical assistant. You can't cross those, though. Remember, so the safety webinars that I've done with Lisa Fraley and all the safety training that we do in the course covers a lot of that how many hats do you wear type of thing, right? I've done some training on that in the safety profession training course and with the interviews. But what I want to encourage you to do is I want to encourage you to reach out to them. And your next question is always present as a contractor, would not be considered being an employee. Good. So if you were, you really couldn't even really be a medical assistant then as a contractor, I don't think. Maybe you could, maybe not, I don't know. But I would absolutely, you knew I would ask, you know me. I would absolutely present myself to them. I would type up a business proposal as a health coach. I would present myself to them as an independent contractor, as a health coach. And then if you wanted to be an employee as a medical assistant, maybe you could do that too if you really wanted to add that in. But I don't see you as a medical assistant, Rebecca. I see you as a health coach. I see you shining in that area. But that's what I would do. I would do a business proposal. I would type up what you want to offer. I would know what my services are going to be and what fees you want to suggest or discuss. And then I would just follow the steps I've outlined in this talk about how to get past the gatekeeper and get to the decision maker. But I would like to see a message from you in my email telling me that you actually reached out to them when you're ready to, because I think that you are ready. I think you're ready in all the ways except maybe, getting out the door to do it. Because I know you, Rebecca, so go out and do it. All right, anonymous attending several chiropractor offices in my town. I'm a patient at one of them. How do I go about approaching those other offices I'm not familiar with? I'm afraid they'll ask if I get chiropractic care. Okay, it's a great question. So there's two things to think about here. One, do you want chiropractic care is really usually not as in-depth into your business, your personal business, as other medical businesses are. Like, I wouldn't want my doctor taking care of all of me personally and having a business relationship, because a lot of times our business can cause us stress, and I'd want to be free to say to my doctor, I'm under a lot of stress right now. This is what I'm going through. But you wouldn't be able to do that if they were actually your doctor in your business, right? Hold on, I got to scroll up. It's disappearing. So because then it looks like you're like, your business is stressing me out, right? So there's two ways to think about it. One way is that keeping it separate might be a good idea. The other thing is yes, I do get chiropractic care at another office, but I don't like to mix my own personal health stuff with my business, because I think there's too gray of an area there, and just being straight up honest with it. So yeah, and you can tell them every now and then I might want an adjustment or something like that if you're good with that. But I've been with this chiropractor for a very long time, and I trust them, and I like to keep things separated. So anonymous, that's what I would do. Okay. Missy, regarding offering to work with the doctor, hold on. I'm confident to work with a doctor. My question is, how do I offer a set number of, do I offer a set number of sessions, like 2 or 3 or 4 weekly sessions, and I have my intake form? Does she go through my normal client process and session? Okay. So you're asking, I'm kind of confused because it's got a couple different questions here. Are you asking if you should present an intake process to the doctor? If so, I mean, yes. Okay. So what I would say is, if they don't have an intake process in place, that's an absolute 100% value. You can feel that front end for them and get them ready for what's coming their way. I mean, going through an intake, and I don't know if you've got my intake form or what, but it's 26 pages long. You're going to learn everything you need to know about that client and present that client to the doctor with a nice, easy intro of red flags. So, okay, so we've got a 29-year-old, I'm just making this up too, 29-year-old female presenting with hormonal issues, wanting to get pregnant, suspect PCOS from elevated testosterone. I mean, you can give them an outline based on an intake. And then basically the doctor's like, okay, great, let's do some testing around the testosterone. I'm going to give you the power to educate her on polycystic ovarian, whatever. And then they come back, and yes, you do that second intake. Great. This is where we are with the patient client now. They've made some progress with lowering their testosterone by removing high estrogen activity in the body. 100% I would present an intake process, because if they don't have one, they are failing their patients and clients to even do the basics. So present that intake process 100%. I do 4. So I do a 3-month process from the first consultation all the way to the final, asking for testimonial, 4 intake processes, 4 sessions, 3 to 4 weeks apart, stamp, rinse, and repeat. It's really, really simple. Yes, Missy. So I would present that to them. If they have an intake process and you think it's lame, I mean, I'd say, hey, would you be interested in seeing something that's maybe a little bit more robust and high mileage, where we could really start making a difference? So ask them if they have a process first. If they don't, offer yours. If they do, ask them if they're interested in seeing yours, if theirs is not as robust as yours could be. I hope that's helpful. Yeah, my email again, carmenhunterhealth@gmail.com. Okay, so yeah, so Sunshine's like, okay, go to Mindshare 2019, yes. Yep, okay, so I just gave it to you again. Best way to present yourself to a chiropractor office any different than an MD? Nope, not really. How an independent, okay, so the approach is the same. It's just you just have to change your mindset a little bit. The approach is always going to be the same when you go into a practitioner's office. You might walk into a chiropractor's office knowing they know more about functional care, and so maybe there's not as much discussion about what a health coach is, but really it's not about, there's no real different approach. I have to keep scrolling up because when you guys put questions in, it shoots things off. Can you go over how an independent contractor is, how they are what? I'm not sure what you mean there. How they are what? How they are paid? How they are presented? Okay. Yeah. Oh, would you get paid by patients, clients, or chiropractor? Okay. How they're paid probably is what the question is. Yes. So typically it could go two different ways. Again, what I've seen coaches go in and they give a percentage of what they make off of the client. The client is paying them directly, but I've also seen it flip-flopped where the client or the patient goes through the office, and then the office gives the coach a percentage. Keep this in mind though. If you're doing a lot of work, which we do, we never just give halfway as coaches. You need to agree on a percentage that matches that. So yes, they're giving you business, but you're adding value and you're doing a lot of work. So keep that percentage in mind. Do I know what's fair? I don't know what's fair. It's different wherever you go, where do you live, what the demographics are, how much experience you have, how much time you're spending, what the value you're bringing. You got to weigh all this stuff. This isn't simply walking into an office and saying, I want 49% of everything you bring in. Really think about that. I would prefer more than likely to be paid probably from the chiropractor, doctor, or the office rather than the client or the patient, because that's just extra paperwork for you to have to deal with. And they usually have a front desk person that runs all that through that could easily cut you a check for that percentage. But again, you're going to have that conversation with whichever practitioner you approach. Okay. Yeah. All right. CarmenHunterHealth@gmail.com. Just repeating. People are dropping off. So yeah. If you offer your services to doctors, does he do my intake form? Does he do your intake form? I'm not sure what you mean. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. If you offer your services to be a coach for your doctor, yes, absolutely. Have him do your intake, treat him like every other client. You're welcome. All right. I think that's all the questions in there. I'm hoping there's not a whole lot in the chat, questions in the chat, but I hope that you guys did some really good chatting, and talking about, where you guys are. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to scroll through before we hang up. Thank you so much for all the feedback. This is feedback for me. And I'm loving that you guys are talking to each other. Your osteopath has already asked you to work with her out of her office as a health coach. Amazing. Let's see here. And Dawn Morris makes a point here around, oh my gosh, sorry guys, I got something in my eye, 1231. It says, most don't think their patients will pay extra for it out of pocket. At least it's been my experience. Hope that have that myth busted today. Guess what? So I don't have a money mindset issue around money. I mean, I don't have a mindset problem with money. And I think I don't want to work with an office that has a mindset issue around money either. So here's the thing: a doctor can build the fee for a health coach into their fees, so it doesn't look like it's extra for it out of pocket type of thing. They can build that into their fees if they're willing to do so. The other thing is if you are bringing something in that's going to change someone's life, they're going to be willing to pay for it, or you're not going to. I just don't focus on that. Let me just back up. I'm not the person that goes, well, they won't be able to pay for it. No, I attract the ones that will pay for it. And I do, and I've done that. I used to be that person who was like, well, I'm just going to do a lower number on this so I can get nope. I want the people that are committed to spend the money to work with me and see their lives change. And that's who you'll start to get. Change your mind about what you think people are able to do. It's not up to you what people are able to do. Not up to you whether or not they're going to pay out of their pocket. Let them be the one that determines that, so you can attract the ones that will. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I hope I just busted. I hope I'm busting myths on that. It's all what's going on up here for you guys is where it starts. What's in your mind? What are you trying to attract? What do you want to bring into your life? And I'm not going woo-woo on law of attraction here. I'm telling you that's how it is. What you think about, you will receive. What you focus on will grow. So if you're thinking about how nobody can afford things, don't expect clients, no matter whether you work alone or you work in an office. Still a student, but prefer to work in a team. Recently moved to my current city, underserved, deserved in terms of functional medicine, and one doctor who bills himself as an FMMD, only taken a few classes, not certified. His heart's in the right place. Well, his heart's in the right place. So maybe you can go in and help him get everything else in the right place. Go in with your ideas. Take your stuff in there and say, this is what I think we can do. Be excited about it. Present it in a way that makes sense. And, stand behind what you want to do with your business. I'm hooked up with my Vitamin Shop and Walmart. They're so receptive. Awesome. Awesome. If we offer to work with doctors who offer programs online, do we need to worry about clients in red and orange states? I was told by an attorney that as long as our contract states any disputes will result in our state, we can follow our own state rules. Can you clarify? I think everyone needs to act as if they're in a red state. I teach my coaches and my students to act as if they're in a red state. I don't care if you're in a green state. Act as if you're in a red state. Act as if you're coaching from a red state. State it in, yes, your contract that any rules will follow your state, guidelines and regulations, absolutely. But I hope everyone's practicing as if they're in a restricted state so that you have the best, the lowest risk practice and the best protection for yourself and your business, okay? All right, let's see here. Each collaboration is dead-ended at a friendly discussion with a practitioner taking my business card but no referrals. I'm setting up an appointment with another chiropractor soon. Hope I can learn some key elements to move forward. Moving forward, Karen, is you saying, you not taking the dead end and you not ending it at that discussion, you doing the follow-up, you presenting yourself with confidence, you saying, I'll be checking back, you saying, I've so enjoyed this. This has been an amazing conversation. I love that we're aligned. When can I get back with you? Okay. Take these tips. They work. Take them out there, get into the offices, and don't let it dead end. It's up to you to do that. All right. So Bruce, I need help on where to research legal issues, contractor working as osteopath. Okay. Rather than an employee to cover her backside. You don't need to cover anyone's backside. They cover their own. You cover yours. She covers hers. Focus on yourself. You can sign up. You can listen. I've got a safety course, first of all, that has all the webinars about this topic, all included. So I think there's like 4, there's an entire training, all the language, and the attorney's webinars in there, and it'll go out in the replay, Bruce. That's where I would go. I'm not saying, you know, or you can do some research out there on, but Lisa and Sam and the training I've done is all centered around health coaching, and we know what we're talking about with that. So it might be your best bet. I think it says, Heidi, I've been trying hard to get in with many practitioners. My overall feeling is that they seem to be so territorial and don't want to pass things along to me. They want to do it themselves. The patient is, yeah, of course. Well, that's, you know, that's the downfall. But find someone who does want to open the doors and open their mind. So stop wasting time on people who seem territorial. Don't even bother. Yes, and put on a cape. Absolutely, Michael. Put on a cape. It's funny. Sometimes put it in your head that you're wearing a cape. I mean, yeah, I'm more confident in a cape. Absolutely. Okay. I like that I don't buy a home in doubt. Yeah, don't buy a home in doubt. Rent space in low confidence. Rent space in doubt. Rent space in uncertainty. But do not build your house there, because I will probably come in one day on a live and kick your pants, because we can't live there as health coaches. If we cannot be confident in what we're giving to the world, how are we going to be expecting our clients to be confident in what they're doing for their health? It doesn't make any sense. Confidence in our client, our confidence for our clients starts with the confidence we have in ourselves to deliver what they need. Absolutely, 100%. All right, Laura, I'm new to health coaching, your program. This gives me great info as well as I start my health coaching business. You're welcome, Laura, and welcome. So this training lives in the Institute. It will be plugged in, slides and training, and it will be plugged in to the Health Coach Mentorship and Mastery group and plugged in there. And of course, if you purchase the training today, the replay will be sent out and you will get everything. Okay, you'll get a cover of everything. So yay. So someone's going, Laura, I think, is going to New Health Tour in New York City. Awesome. Okay, so I'm scrolling down because I got to wrap up. I got to be in the car in 5 minutes. I'm so glad you love the Institute and the Mastery Group. I am building this disruption based on being a health coach. I'm not a CEO that had a lot of money that opened a school. I'm a person that wants to be intimately involved with you guys. I want to give you what you need. I want to see you successful. I want to see coaches out there making a difference and doing this in a way that makes you happy and really, you know, impacts the world as a whole. Okay. All right, you guys, I got to roll. So have a great rest of the day. Keep your eyes open. We need 24 to 48 hours, depending on where my team is with replays and links. And I'll throw some benefit stuff. And also, you guys get a copy of the food guide for free. If you're a student or a Mentorship Mastery member, you get the food guide. You already have it. But if you're not, I'm giving the food guide to you for free. So 52 pages of amazing whole food information that you can use and tweak and customize to use with your clients. Thanks for attending. Thanks for the feedback. Love all of you. Have a wonderful day.